Okay, so we have a new installment. Welcome back. So this is things that I otherwise didn't mention, or new discoveries which we didn't know about before. Something I forgot to mention in previous videos, if I just get there because I don't have a save state for it. In the final zone, you can either hold right the entire time while going into the boss, or you can hold right the entire time and make sure you pause a few times and leave it pause for a little bit while running into the arena like this. And when you get in here, the order will now be different, but it is still a knowable order. Now what this does is make the boss spawn on an earlier timing, so that it's actually easy to get a 112 for the final zone on the in-game timer. So this is faster on the in-game timer. This is the order right now. It's 2, 1, 3. You have to hit the third one from the right hand side. 2, 1, 3, 2, 2. Another 2 2s. You have to hit this second 2 from the left hand side because it's 2 middle pistons. But yeah, the only difference for this is as you're running into the final zone, you're holding right as normal, but just pause and unpause and leave the game paused for a bit while you're running in there. Anywhere around the positions where I was doing it coming in. So then a 4, then a 3, and then the final piston is going to be on 1. And delay the hit for as long as possible in order to get a 112. Next I have a Green Hill 2 bottom route, which is easier to get 18s, or if you want to be completely ridiculously task level about it, you can get 17s, but I haven't been able to do that, so. After you hit this buzz bomber and bounce through this wall, with the buzz bomber, pretend that just happened, and you're rolling out of this wall onto the box. We're going to go down, let ourselves fall down this gap, and either land on top of this rock, or just to the right of this rock here. Do a tiny little jump off of there, because you'll still have some rightwards momentum. Land on either that top platform or that next platform down, on those grassy falling away platforms. And then from there it's fairly simple jumps to go through the bottom half of the level. As long as you don't slow down too much doing that, you can get 18s with this fairly easily. You can get 18s doing the normal way, it's just that this is like probably saves half a second on average for me. So again, just running straight off. Normally this platform will be on a cycle where it's on the left and you fall through the gap over here. If you're really fast, you can do it the kind of task way and fall through the gap while the platform was still far enough to the right, and then you land on the top of the rock, and all you have to do is hold right, and you will actually run off the top of the rock, run onto this platform in about this position, and keep being able to actually run across without jumping, and that's faster, you get 17s, but again I haven't managed to do that yet. Maybe there's a more consistent way of getting there faster. But anyway, I'll show you the rest of the jumps. I want to ideally roll out of that wall. Oop. So down here, jump like this, jump like this. We're going to jump about when you're exactly halfway through this waterfall, we're going to do a full jump. And that'll land us on top of this rock, and then you want to do a jump off the top of this rock, which I've just missed. And you want this jump to be a mid-jump, fairly cautious because you don't want to overshoot this red spring over here. So you jump off the top of that rock and land straight on this red spring. And if you're holding right the whole time, you will get all the way over to here and land here. You have to do a tiny little jump to get through that enemy. If your jump is tiny enough, you can land on this slope and do a big jump upwards off this slope and get all the way over in the normal route. Or your tiny little jump will not be small enough to land on this slope, you land about here. Wait until you're on this flat, do a full jump off of this flat, and you'll land here. And then do a full jump off of here, or any jump off of here, and hold right through to the end. I'll just try and do it through like actually smooth. Something that saves slightly more time than that, that's fairly new, is Scrap Brain 2, no, Scrap Brain 1, sorry now. So what we have is a slope glitch at the start of Scrap Brain 1, where we're going to go over here. The floor that I'm standing on right now, you can see Sonic teetering on it for some reason. The floor that I'm standing on now is actually an object and not actually proper terrain. So we can use it to acquire slope glitch if you pan the camera all the way up. Wait until the camera's all the way up. This is very specific because it's such a tight window, because there's no extra different height terrains to use to our advantage here. You have to do an exactly 1 frame jump, so it's easier to press the jump and pause at the same time. You get this. That will be a 1-frame jump when you unpause. We're going to be holding left, and then we're going to try and piano our jumps and get a jump on exactly the same 1 frame that we land on the ground again, and that should give a slope glitch. You have to jump on literally the first frame that you land, otherwise it won't work. 1 frame, there we go, and land on, ideally you want to land on the flat over here. Don't land too far left, because if you see if I go over here, I've now lost slope glitch, because the edge of this floor also counts either as an object, or it's the red doors poking through it a bit as their object, I think. So now I've lost slope glitch, because if you stand on an object with slope glitch, you lose it. Oh, that was 2 frames after landing, so I didn't get it. That looked good. So once you run out on that flat, you run to about here, turn around, do a full jump to accelerate as fast as you can, land on that slope so you're going upwards, run all the way up here. You want to wait until you're in line with just past the head of this caterpillar down there and do a full jump, and then you'll break through this box from the side. You want to jump off of this top platform really quickly before you stand near the right half of it, because again that's an object and you'll lose slope glitch. You want to do a little jump, pass through all of those rotating platforms without touching them, without landing on them, like that, at that kind of angle. And then you still don't lose slope glitch and you're in this section of the level. Come over here, turn around, roll, and then jump immediately after rolling so that you can descend onto the slope here, like that. And now you're at the angle of this slope going up into the roof, allowing you to zip again. 2 things can happen here. You can either bonk into this wall, similar to how you can get delayed at the end of Scrap Brain 3 while zipping in the top of the roof there. If this happens, you can either just hold and wait for you to get further in, or you can tap back to the right again, zip slightly out to the left, and then come back at it again and try to ram into it again. Or you'll get straight through this wall ideally. Once you're in this wall, jump and hold right after jumping. You'll land against the normal place that you align doing this level normally, or the previous method for this. So I'm against, you can see the mouse and multi-capture's down there for some reason. I'm against an invisible wall, well, behind the terrain wall that's over here that I'm aligning against because I've run up against it. Once you hit that, let go of everything, you'll fall down and stand in the same place every time. And then it's the same inputs as when you do this section from the previous method normally as well. So we're going to press left and jump shortly after pressing left. It's not that precise. And then something differs from there, so I'll go for that. So you land after hitting that, left and jump. At about this point, you want to do another full jump again. And then after full jumping, hold roll. And that will get you into this wall over here. Once you're in this wall, you can still be doing this off screen while the camera is catching up. You can press left and that'll zip you to here. Then you want to jump and press right again. Press right after jumping so to ensure you don't start zipping before you jump. Then you'll drop down into this section. Now you're still in the wall in the zipping state. You can press left for a bit again. And the easiest place to come out of this wall, if you want a consistent way to do this in runs, is to jump when you're about here. And you will... that is too late, sorry. The plan is to get on the other side of this door right here. Not sure if I can get through. So... I'll start from the beginning again, but the plan is to come up just on the other side of this door while my mouse is there. So whatever frame I just tried to jump on, jump earlier than that. Let me just do it again. The same thing can still happen, just as a note here. You can still not get out of that wall there. You just saw me almost soft lock. That's where you can soft lock. You have to react to that. That's just bad luck subpixel wise. You have to react to that. It doesn't happen very often. In order to not soft lock, if you see that you haven't come out of that wall, let go. What you need to do is, while you're still above the box there and haven't fallen down yet, immediately start holding left. See that you move left further into the wall before you land, and before you land, let go of left so that you don't then zip into the box, and then you can just press right to zip back and align yourself back in this position again, and then do the same thing and get back out of the wall. It's over here. We jump and hold right, fall down into this place. We're going to hold left for a few frames and then jump. This is too early. I was too late before, this is too early this time. We get back there. Okay, so from here, we're going to jump up here. I slowed down to show kind of where I wanted to jump at that point, but there should be a nicer window for knowing when to jump up there straight from zipping while he's still off camera. Anyway, once you're up there, just jump up under this thing, and we're going to do the same as the normal route for the other level. At this point, we're going to crouch on the end of this thing, and it takes us into the wall. And once you're in the wall, start zipping. Once you're about at this point, jump out of the zip. Slightly later than that, and you should appear out here. You want to get out of the wall about here, and then jump and get up to the end normally. And you can get anywhere from 32 if you do everything absolutely perfectly to kind of 36, 38, about equal with the normal route. I guess I could try and do it one more time just to edit on of me actually doing it all smoothly in a row. Has to be exactly one frame, the same frame that you land, that you do the jump immediately off of this ground. Okay. So there we go, that's what we're looking for. So 33 is good with that strat. But you can get 32s. And that's also a bit of good luck if you don't get if you go straight through that wall in the middle without bonking into it, similar to Scrapbrain 3. Cool. I have another thing, and it's a fairly important thing. New development. Again, it's with the most difficult level. Here we are. At Labyrinth 3. Again, we're getting in the wall the same way normally. But if your subpixel window is bad and you drop down the wall like this, TeeNTee has released an IL recently that shows getting into the next part in this way. So what you want to do from here, this is not consistent by any means at this point, but if you've dropped down the wall, you might as well give it a go. I'll of course try and update stuff if we find more consistent setups for making this part work. What you want to do after dropping down and not holding anything, you've dropped into this position, you're going to zip to the left by holding right for exactly one frame and jump on exactly the next frame and pause on the same frame that you're jumping so that you're getting a one frame jump. So there we go. You can't see that you've jumped until you unpause and you know. But if you have, oh, I have not jumped. If you haven't jumped, that'll happen. You can give it another go if you zip back to the right for one frame by pressing left for a frame and then try again. But that often won't. That even more likely won't work than it working the first time. Not that it's likely to work the first time either, but if you're falling down this wall, you can't do it normally anyway, so might as well give it a go. That's what I'm saying. So there I jumped without zipping. It can definitely still work from this point. That was zipping for 2 frames and then jumping for 1, so that's not going to work. But you can see how this is attempting to go. There you go. That's the one you want. That's going to happen most of the time, but sometimes you get through that waterfall, and I'll try and keep doing this and then edit it to the point where I do get through that wall. There we go. So once you are through that waterfall at that position, you're in this position. You do similar to the end of the top route after getting through on the other 50% subpixel range up on the top for the normal Labyrinth 3. You want to hold right, tap right for a little bit and jump, and you'll align yourself up against an invisible wall here. Once you land from this, you're going to hold right. You can get randomly subpixeled there, exactly the same as the end of the top route. I think is also a 2.5% chance of that, exactly that flipping happening. So let me just get back to this point. Okay, there we go again. Gonna line up against that, hold right. We get to here. So I have 2 screenshots I'll show. At some point, in order to break the level boundary for this one, you need to let go of right before you get there. This will work for it, for example, but there's a whole big window. It's like, so here are the screenshots. This top one is the earliest frame where you can let go of holding right after you zip through there, if it looks like this. Note that this terrain over here, which is a brighter color, this terrain around here can be in slightly a different patchwork of glitchiness, similar to how it looks in this section. But you should still be able to make out where you are depending on kind of where this waterfall is coming up. Then this is the absolute latest frame where it can work. It often doesn't work on this frame, so go for one frame before this, where Sonic would be standing here. But anyway, this is a massive window. It's like anywhere where Sonic is at this point up until this point is like what, 6 frames, so it should be fairly easy to let go of right. And if you let go of right within that window at this point, then you should always get through the level boundary over there, and there you go. It's the same. In fact, it is faster if everything goes to plan with this method. Unfortunately, it's far less consistent. So. Right, I think that's it for now. I'll no doubt be back in a few months when even more stuff is discovered for this game, as it will always continue to be. And the IL scene for this game is also fairly, doing fairly well at the moment. So there's new stuff going on for that as well if you want to check out the IL leaderboard. But yeah, I'll go and edit this and be back to stream practice for Calisthon Marathon tonight.